filter.
You didn't catch it. Awesome.
No, I caught it. I just don't want to encourage you.
I meant FA.
Well, he just started the podcast. So you might have
Friday night at the crib. It's open mic. I have posted the link on the right-hand side in case anybody'd like to join the show. Try and figure out what Brian caught. And learn more about what's going wrong with the Forsaken mission that we were so reliant on historically, as it's gradually transitioning from a garrison raid to an assault raid.
More than it's not even that. It's not transitioning nothing. It's transitioned into a bend over bitches.
Well, yeah, I was watching Silence of the Lambs today, and I'm using the word transitioning in a that method. That way, if you guys recall seeing Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, you guys are all welcome to join us, and I hope everybody's braced for the fact that excuse me, that we're going to have a raid 30 days out of the week, and just hope you're ready for that, because it's not what I signed up for. I'm not sure if anybody else signed up for, but I don't know. But again, feel free to join, and we'll talk about the most recent thing as far as Rampage posting hopefully just the midterm fix for this solution and not a long-term fix, and go from there. So I guess it's time to introduce everybody. I will go from left to right on your TV screen. Toxic.
Good everyone. How are you?
Good morning, sir. The Holsch.
Howdy, everyone.
Have you been having fun on the forums, Holsch?
Yeah.
Yeah, not as much fun as normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Dead Center.
Hey, how's everyone?
Pretty well, you know. Magic Mike.
Hello, everybody.
Father George.
It burns.
Oh, well, I thought that was the line that we were going to get from, hey, Two Doors.
The prosecution is ready.
Okay. And this is Hefe. All right. Well, we have a good crew here tonight, and if anybody else would like to join us, I'm going to post the link one more time. And I don't know. I've been sort of worn out by the whole process. It's not so much trying to kill the target. It's just imagining killing that target 13, 14 times every week, and for the next couple of years, or not even a couple of years, next 6 months, until they change it again. So if anybody else would like to start off with any thoughts they have at this point, and we'll get into the update from Rampage, which, again, like I said, I consider to be a half measure at this point, as far as not even a half.
It's not any measure.
Not even. I was going to correct myself. Not even a half measure to solving the issue at hand.
But isn't this change even way out of sync? It's not even something that was in the schedule, I don't think, was it? This one just came out of nowhere, basically, because they didn't like what was happening.
Well, see,
I can't say out of nowhere. It came out of the clusterfuck they turned the FM into.
Thanks, Ron.
I think he means the change of. I think he means the change of the FM itself, and that's the question that I've been thinking about is why now? Why not wait? I mean, we only had a few more months until the garrison targets came out on the map for the raid. So at worst, do the same thing you did this time. Change them mid raid on the map. Why now?
Why penalize some players that have actually figured out how to do some of the stuff, and then further penalize some of the guys that were getting up to the point where they had learned from the other guys, and then now they're sitting way back in the, way in the back of the bus now. It's like, it's disgusting. I don't know what to say. I would yell real loud like Ren did the other day, but that can't get to that volume.
I still can't. I can't understand the why now. And you know, and there's a really good point that's come up, like in talking with Ren and stuff. Like, why are there assault targets in a garrison target? Why in the hell do we have an assault thing? I mean, we have a clear delineation of all the target types. They posted it. That was the plan. There's a lot of questions and no answers coming from anybody.
Man, I probably have a list of 25 questions, George. Like, why is the icebreaker fleet doing better against the ships than the skill holes that were supposed to do better?
Oh, I have a better one. Why is the generalist doing better than both of them?
Get two more out of my system. Then why do they want me to spend 4 times as long? I mean, I was just doing 115s now, slowly retreating, switching fleets, you know, so to minimize damage and whatnot. And it's like 20 minutes to complete a freaking 115. So I can do 3 per hour. I need 15 of those. I just closed the game to join you guys here because it was like, I was bored shitless doing that.
What was the third one? You got one more? Because I have something to say on that one too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've run both the icebreaker and the zealous mono fleet now, right? And I got an hour and a half on both of them. The icebreaker is not consistent. It's the general median is about 2 hours of damage, but it only takes 5 minutes to do it with the icebreaker fleet. I mean, literally 5 minutes, like on the nose almost. With the zealous mono fleet, not only does it take it was 10.5 minutes to run the target. I ran out of charged M armor before I finished the target, and it's got 4 panels of it, which Brian did the math. And how many hits is that?
It's like 325 or something like that.
I mean, damn.
325 separate instances of missile damage. And the thing is, those rhinos do fire a lot at you, and there's a bunch of different groups of them. And I'm sure each separate MIRV of the arc missile counts as a source of penetrating damage. But even still, that's too much, especially when, one, they changed the design of the charged armors to catch a lot of little pebbles. Well, if your target is putting out more pebbles than 4 panels can create, you've made a mistake in design. What was the other problem? Oh, yeah, nice luxury item, you fucks. Good job.
Well, I mean, they said that once, and clearly it's not the case. I think everyone realizes now that charged armor must-have item.
Oh,
right?
no.
I mean, you can't build you can't hope to do reasonably well in raid with a reasonable amount of time without charged armor. Forget it. So it's another, just like they said recently that we were going to have 6.5 days to complete FM. Oh, but wait, the prize you won the most is going to expire in less than 4 days.
Yeah, there was no indication of that anywhere.
No.
We got one still image from something that was in its own admission to be subject to change because it was from a preview. And what changed was the points for the targets since then. Well, the higher ones went down in points from 275 and whatever to 250. The only positive I can come out with is those fuckers can actually count now. How every single other time we'd be missing 100 or so points. We're actually getting the entirety of the 250,000. The problem there...
That's positive for an OCD person. It's not a positive in the big clusterfuck of FM.
Well, it means you have to do one more target, which I don't want to do one more target of any variety. If I don't have to. If they could just learn how to...
Not one more.
If they could just learn how to do basic multiplication. And... but the problem that is, the fleets take damage from their own. Well, the target takes damage from itself basically, and that the Legion ships run into the Drak forces, and now they get owned. Now, the Legion ships ignore everything Drak, come straight at you, and the Draks don't fire at them.
Yeah, they made
Has there been any story reason for that to be the case that I fucking missed somewhere? Because they haven't done that in years.
Greed.
They haven't done that since the war zone, where they put you into a physically impossible start point, and you had to run around with subs while they all killed each other, and you picked off the weakling. The best way to do that set of raids was to not do them in the intended way at all, because they cheated you. And I feel like, again, here they're cheating you when things of two drastically different factions can both come at you and completely ignore the other. I can't have my ships not fire at something. If something is within range, I have to fire at it. And that's something I don't always want to do in the normal course of play, because I can aim at the actual turret that's giving me a problem and kill that first. But I can't actually do that because it's behind the one I want to kill.
Yeah, but we don't know kicks like hex.
Well, Ren, you know, as much like in the past, I've tried to avoid going greed thing, because you know I could kind of see some balance type of, like I could see something where it would fit. This time, I'm Ren, man. It's got to be greed, and to exacerbate that point even worse, the quote unquote fix that they're coming out with was what about the blitz?
It's about the targets no one's complaining about.
But they reduced the blitz cost. What the hell?
And if you want to instant refit your monoliths or icebreakers, they're half price now.
No, they're not. Are they?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
That says it all. I'm sorry. I just saw Ren's minorly despondent face on the other end there. It's like, yeah, that's about right. That's the proper reaction. Like that. Why? There is no explanation. There is no logic. Like, this is the end times. Your skill as a player and the confines of the game that they have set up and everything you've led up to believe up to this point doesn't matter anymore. You're fucked. Turn around, go home, save your money, go buy a nice steak dinner. If this continues as is, this game is going to die in very short order. The good news is they're going to have increased revenues on the side of Kixeye, not necessarily from any of these changes, but because one of the BP members on forums announced their 2-week notice on a public forum in a post and said they were going to go play Seacraft instead. So that's one less guy they got to pay. Up go those revenues, guys. I'm an accounting major. I know how this fucking works. Right?
Is Hefe here so we can lock onto this, or should I just keep on talking? Because this is something that Thomas Long posted on the TFC page. And it actually is a great example of what we're seeing in these targets, right? Because he took a total of 1 hour and 10 minutes, 41 damage, using, of course, a fleet that, you know, really we shouldn't have to rely on. Like, this is having to rely on this is asinine in and of itself for a garrison target. However, when he splits the fleet up, the garrison damage that he's taken from, you know, the turrets and, you know, the garrison part of the target is 21 minutes. The damage that he takes from just the bloody fleet is 50 minutes. How do you justify that?
What a correct is not even from the fleet; it's from the rhinos, because the citadels are
yes.
no problem.
Right. Okay, yes, exactly. That's even for further clarification, yes, it's the Zoes are doing this, or rhinos, whatever the hell they are. The damn missile chuckers are what's boning you, and it's, you know, this is a garrison target. We have not anymore. I mean, I don't know how they're defining this as a garrison target, but this is not what a garrison target is.
Yeah,
this is more of an assault target.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of players have certain set of expectations, and I can't speak for anyone else's, but I have the best tech in the game for garrison fleets as it currently exists. It's all skulled. It's all on there. I even put SB4 and ST4 on for swag. And I feel like especially if I'm supposed to be able to do as many top-end targets as they desire of us right now, this week, I should be able to do it for less than 1 hour damage using a skilled fleet and skilled driving. That would be my Zelos and Monos. If at any point the answer to this question, how do I do this in an hour's damage or less? If the answer to the question at any point involves retreat to charge your armor, retreat to switch fleets, have an assault boat of any capacity in your fleet, or use a crew, or have the sprint countermeasure on any of your ships, that answer is wrong.
Now, Brad, can I disagree with you?
Okay.
And I'm just going to say, going way back, this one thing in isolation is not a problem. If you remember when the top target in FM was a level 65 with a whole bunch of DNXs in it, when that target came out, we needed to retreat to complete the target. I mean, later when we got the MCX with the D55F missile, blah, 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 we were able to do in one go. But when that target first came out, it was so hard. We had to retreat and try different things and whatnot. Then the 85 came out. Same thing. It was a huge target by the standards of that time in the game. And to complete the 85, I remember I used 3 fleets. You know what the main difference was? Why it didn't piss me off back then and it pisses me off now? It's because back then, I only needed like 4 or 5 of those targets to complete my FM and not 15. And, you know, that's the thing. If I only needed 5 115s to do my FM now, I would really not care having to retreat and use 2 fleets and this and that. But needing 15 of them and taking 20 minutes to do each one of them, unless I crash my icebreakers like George said and I'm doing 5, but then I'm taking 5 hours, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The fact that I need the seat time, okay, of 5-6 hours to complete my FM.
Well, what if your icebreakers aren't built like George's and they take more damage? What if you can't build a fleet as good as that? What if you're not quite up, you know, at a level of what George's icebreakers are? So you got to take even more. You might not even make more than 2 targets with the whole fleet.
Not to mention that the focus was always on monoliths and Zealous and Empyreans. I mean, icebreakers were back in the raid option 3. A distant option 3, right? And nobody was being incented to build icebreakers because they sucked. Now, all of a sudden, oh, you know what? The best option is icebreakers. The one fleet you don't have. How about that? And they're just going to say, well, we've been offering them in TLCs, like your shipyard's been sitting there ready to build them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got nothing else to build.
I dislike everything about this. The quadrupled seat time, the stupid damage coming from ships in a garrison target, the time constraint in the chests that really means we don't have 6.5 days to complete FM. The much higher point requirement, the much lower point payout. I mean, where do you start? You know, the one thing they got right, oh, it's a store and you pick the price you want. You don't need to go through a forced sequence of items. That's the one good thing about this update, this FM update. And it's the only thing, as far as I know, that players actually asked for. All of the rest came out of their asses to make more money.
Get to the tokens faster, I think, is another positive. The first time you redeem a prize, if this is the first time you got to tier 4 or whatever, you can buy a tier 4 prize, and then you can buy a tier 2 ship build token if you get enough points to do that within 3 days, which, by the way, look at the times on those chests. They're different. The tier 4 chest has a limit of 3 days.
Yeah.
And the tier 5 chest has a limit of 4 days.
And that makes it even more of a raid every week than before. And you know what? We don't have half repair time. Like, these are designed as though we were in a damn raid. I'm not gonna.
It's worse.
I'm sorry, my raid is cheaper than that.
Yeah, my raid is cheaper than that too. Like, even if I account for half repair on my icebreakers, that's still over 2 hours of repair to do a top level target with the best tuned tech that I had available prior to the FM, that being no sprints. And I only ever took, did I even take over an hour of damage in any raid target over like the past year once I actually learned how to do it right? Because I don't think I did. No, even if you have the repair, this is way more expensive than a raid and way more difficult than a raid when compared to the raid with the best metrics we have available.
Well, I mean, you know, if you're taking an hour and a half damage, right? If you get it down, because I'm going to assume that's going to be the area that we're going to eventually get to, right? But you know, at an hour and a half of damage, and you got to do 14 of these things, that's is it 30 hours of damage? Hour and a half.
1.5 x 14 is 21.
21 hours of damage?
Yeah.
I mean, crap.
So when they reduce the price of the 103 Blitz, are they going to compensate all the players that already blitzed the 103 at the price?
What do you think?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Here's my other problem. I mean, did anyone else see that job description from LinkedIn that KickSci was hiring a product manager for Battle Pirates? Who saw that?
The one not to pay attention to opinions?
Yeah.
Not to pay attention to opinions and be very good at doing data analysis. You know my problem with that? I mean, very good skill to have, no problem with that skill. I'm just saying, you now probably have someone with their faces buried in a spreadsheet, analyzing FM data and saying something like, well, the damage is not so bad. The players are learning the target. The damage is going down. Now, do they have on that spreadsheet how many players are recycling their bases per day?
Yeah, and they also don't have at this point, because they want to sell this in the short term. I'm assuming, because, you know, like what you're talking about, players recycling their bases, players quitting, people buying, you know, the World War II version of some new game and whatnot. That's going on. But you just don't look at the FM. You're going to have to look at what's going to happen to the raid, because this is going to trash the raid unless people have certainty moving forward on what's going to happen with the game in total. So this is going to trash the raid. People aren't going to participate, in my mind, at the same level as before, unless they have some level of certainty on what's going to happen with the FM. And so,
and even, sorry,
you know, so they need to look at things in total. And I'm just afraid they're going to look at the FM data with people trying to break it and do whatnot. And it's a special kind of player that wants to, you know, even if you get it down to 45 minutes of damage or half hour of damage, that wants to do 45 minutes of damage, you know, 13 times for something that, you know, you could used to do very easily. When you combine that with what was going on with the bounty and what's, you know, all in the compressed raid cycle, it's progressing into a different game than it was previously.
Yeah, I was able, I don't know you guys, I was able to complete the 2 rounds of my FM in under 1 hour.
Oh, the old one. Yeah,
up to last week.
Yeah.
Under 1 hour, both rounds. Seven targets. 3.5 reset, 3.5. FM done.
And the thing is, that frees you up to do other things in the game where you could potentially spend money, but they don't seem to see it like that. I think that's okay. Can we get a lock on Holsch?
Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Yeah, and the thing is, that guy, you know, staring deep into the spreadsheet while, you know, going into the matrix, pun may or may not be intended, it's Schrodinger's pun. They'll need to look at that. Yeah, they probably, well, they might not have even gotten more from the RFM at that point, in which case they have failed in a catastrophic level. But the thing is, when they raise the FM income, everything else goes down, because just like Ren said, you know, that's going to send everything else crashing down. People are not going to have confidence in the game and their ability to do the most basic function of the game. Now, as described, the product manager shouldn't know anything about that. They're not supposed to look at opinions. They're supposed to look at data. And I think that's a fault of what the job itself wants, because they're going to see, oh yeah, you know, the FM goes up, but then everything else went down. And maybe at that point they'll actually get it. But on a conceptual level, the FM being the key to everything in the game, as stated by Minigame does many times over, and us, you know, as often as we can, when you mess with that and you massively ramp up the difficulty, there's no time to do anything else. So always repairing your FM fleet, you're always out on the map doing your FM. God forbid there ever be a TLC where we need to use our garrison fleets, because they're going to be busy repairing, or we're just going to have scrapped them and quit.
We do have 2 garrison TLCs right now.
Yeah, 2 garrison TLCs on the go. One assault TLC, and no, 2 assault TLCs actually, if you didn't finish Hunter Games.
All right.
And you know, so there are 4 TLCs active right now, and this brand new FM. And I'll tell you, I got home from work. I you know, did my things and whatnot, and spent time with my son a little bit with homework. And then I came up here to play a little bit. Okay, let me chillax. I did a 115. I was mad at the end of it. You know, retreat, in, out, retreat, in, out. Then I did a 103, and I said, fuck that. Right? Hit repair on the ship, and here I am. I don't want to play.
Exactly.
I'm bored, like bored out of my skull here with this stupid, like having to do this super hard, stupid target in 4 days, 15 times.
Yeah, and I mean, someone tested, okay, I don't want to say tested and Kixeye in the same sentence here, but this target was authorized for use in this manner. And now that it's been authorized, I want their employees to go and try and do this. And don't do this while you're on the clock. Even though you work at Kixeye, you work your ass at your job like the rest of us have to, you know, who have jobs. Do it on your lunch break or whatever. See what happens. If you use funny money, you can keep track of that. But even getting it under an hour's worth of damage to do it reasonably well, let's say, then you do it, and then in an hour you're compelled to play again, because otherwise you're wasting time, because those tests have timers on them. And you need to be able to get to those before the time runs out. So you either have to schedule everything else around your fleet coming up, or you have to stop. And it's not like this is a simple mobile game, or like I play some, you know, derpy little game where I can click a few buttons and then be good for a while. This game requires high precision, high skill driving, even though there's massive lag in the 115, by the way, that I found when I never found in the 113. I don't know what it is.
Brian, one second. Imagine doing this during a bounty week if you try to participate.
Ew.
Well, that's gonna happen.
And you just touched on a great point. I mean, bounty is just the last in a series, but the reality is they've been keeping us so busy with all that crap, like the daily regular crap they want us to do, like collect uranium, collect titanium, do FM, blah, 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 TLC, whatever. You know, that mega holes failed because people didn't have time for that. Bounty is failing for multiple reasons, but one of them is people don't have time for that. Right, especially if they need to be online chasing jackpot targets, like waiting for them to show up at random times once a day, if that much. And it's just making the FM worse, it just exacerbates that problem. People will not do other shit in the game, right? Not to mention now I start equipping a turret, even if I have a full load of base parts, and that's it, 14 days. For 14 days, I will need to start equipping another turret. For, you know, for 12 days, I will need to upgrade another turret. I hit, and that's 2 weeks, forget it.
Yeah, this one.
That also means that you can't adapt to anything in the game.
Yeah,
No.
I wanted to put one of the traps on one of my walls, and I had forgotten that, you know, despite using up 14 days, I still have 10 days left on just putting a turret. Not any specials, just a turret. You know, one of the ones they kept selling us and saying, oh, it would be incredibly useful. You know.
And last year, the game was actually fun last year. I mean, things were, I could react and transform my base real quick as long as I went out to collect base parts. So I felt motivated to do so, because then I can, you know, equip something, change something. Maybe after a load of base parts, you know, I'll wait a day, 2 hours, whatever. It was cool, right?
What
Now
about
it's
us
just-
peeps? Sorry, what? Sorry, Ren. Go on, carry on.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what about us peeps that are still killing us fleets on VXP weekend? What do we do for raid fleets then? Mission fleets, as it's called, missions.
This 115 is the same one we had in the TLC a couple months ago. It's geared towards being in a TLC. It's tuned for that purpose, and it's not tuned for a daily hit.
But I think it's even worse than that. I think it's even that target on steroids, to be honest.
It's the ships that's on steroids, isn't it? Not the
I
target.
remember that target and those ships were not that hard.
Mm.
Yeah, there's I mean, the turrets and such, okay. There's that group of whatever as you come in. It's a little annoying, but I guess I'll accept that. I honestly thought that they would have done something to block us getting in and getting in the corner and sniping the building that made everything shroud. I thought they'd get rid of that, and they didn't, so I guess that's okay. I mean, if you kept the base the same way, I really wouldn't mind it. If you kept the base the
It's
same
the
way,
other
and,
fleets, though, isn't it?
Right, exactly.
yeah, just the old. If
It's
the
the
old
other fleets as well, Brian, that flank you from either side. You know, they come from either side, so you can't even get away from them.
Yeah, like what the fuck happened? What's
the
on those things?
Fleet, with the 113 fleet in this base, and then I think it would be more for me personally, it would be more acceptable.
Even if they tuned down the damage from 115 to 113 and left the health pool of the 115 fleets, because I would slice through those things like butter. You know, when I was using my monos or my icebreakers, they were paper. Now they take like 5 separate
I think
salvos
it's
to
I've been watching too many Marvel and DC comic programs, and they think we're all Supermen.
But even the Supermen are, you know, faltering unless you rinse and retreat after every single cluster of a turret knocked down or fleet knocked down, and technically it's instant repair, but you need 2 fleets outside of a target for 15 minutes. God forbid you get sniped because, you know, they don't care about fleet balance in FVF. The moment they introduced Conquerors, they stopped caring. And the moment they introduced the Fangtooth as well, they stopped caring.
Well, what about if they decide to put this as a 115 as a blitz target? What do you do then?
Not blitz it.
You couldn't. I mean, it'd be horribly expensive.
If I can get the damage I take in a 115 down to a point where I would theoretically be okay blitzing it, I'm going to sit and repair it.
Right.
Which, you know, in practice is probably 2-3 coins, something like that. But, you know, they jack the minimum up. The minimum is down on the 103, but has the guy that made the 103, have you finally nutted yet? Are you done? Or are we just going to be subjected to your whiny moans and wails of despair that nobody hits your fucking target and you're really sad about it? Because there have been so many things to try and help you, O Maker of the 103. And they've all failed. And now you've won. It only cost you the rest of the game. How does that make you feel? They even had to lower the blitz cost. They even had to lower the damage. I'll test that after dinner, by the way, once my fleet's actually repaired. Okay, I don't believe them.
They did lower.
But it would be nice.
They did lower a little bit.
Okay.
No,
now, in that case, then for me in particular, I can't speak for anybody else, then it becomes more efficient in terms of seat time plus repair time divided by points for me to do 103s as opposed to 115s.
What I did.
That's not because they did the 103 well, by the way. That's because they had to nerf the 103 multiple times and bring in a much heavier 115. Make the 103 even somewhat viable to endgame players, which it should be viable to not endgame players. That should be a stepping stone somewhere, but
does anybody have the definition of garrison in front of them? Because I would like to. One of the things that bugs me is they're not following their own rules, and that's one of the things that irks me. There's a lot of things that irk me associated with the changes that are made, but they're not really following their own rules, especially it deals with the power of the ships that are defending that target. The ships are the preeminent damage cause.
There you go, Jeff.
And there we go. Oh, we'll go to George. The FM is a garrison target. This PvE target will contain enemy structures or turrets, but it will also have a small amount of enemy ship units as well. Unlike skirmisher, they will be stationary or slow moving. I don't think those things are slow
Objection!
I mean,
I didn't get the finger all the way in the frame.
Well,
But
that happened. They changed that the last time they did the garrison raid too. I mean, those weren't slow moving. That was one of the things that I bitched about.
Yeah, providing support fire or countermeasures for nearby turrets. That's not support fire when it does way more damage than the nearby turrets.
When they come off screen and shoot at you from the other side, that's more of a flanking maneuver. But the thing is, you can get out of range of the turrets and take down the ships. So I don't even understand how that's really support fire. That's just shit firing at you.
Yeah. Garrison halls will typically have both assault and siege deflection stats, but the siege deflection stats will be higher. Resistance will be tailored for current damage types being dealt in PvE's garrison targets with subpar maneuverability. Wow, I don't know about that. And emphasizing weapons uses that can deal a decent amount of building damage, with some damage being dealt to enemy fleet.
Ironic there that the current weapons that we use for the FM have the same building damage as ship damage. We get our bonuses from specials and maybe the hull itself, but the weapon, I believe even the I'll check in the game, but I believe the damage is the same for all different types of targets, so there's no real bonus to be had there.
I find it ironic that the Ballistic Zealous is the one that's doing the best damn thing again.
Well, that's because it has, it's the most building damage over ship damage. Yay! Well, I guess you got to add in a couple of what the hell is that cannon? Hammer cannon?
Quake.
Hammer.
Quake.
You add in hammers for the ships, but the Quake deals with the turrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we good with this?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
if
I see two ways of
harkens
dealing
back.
with it.
Go ahead.
I see two ways of dealing with it. One, going back to the rules. Don't have these ships be doing all the damage, and also, as Ren brought up several times, don't make us hit all these targets. I mean, this is another raid, and I brought up earlier when you were when I was getting ready to bring out the rant timer on you, Brian. I was bringing up, why? I mean, I don't know. I'm getting very frustrated with the path forward, but it's, I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just really frustrated as far as trying to find a solution relative to what we thought this was going to be and what we're used to this being. And they're transforming the game. And, you know, like I brought up before, who is going to be doing the bounty and this at the same time? This is supposed to be just like a layering, just like a little layer of something to do in the meantime while other things are going on. Now we're no longer complaining about the issues with the King's Writ, the bounty, and whatnot. So now we got something new to complain about. And it's turned the Battle Pirates community into a very reactive and angry group with all the things that they've been bringing out. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian. You can be reactive and angry.
Oh boy. Hey, it's like Christmas.
One little test with Skyfires. And for one grouping of the ships, the 2 Rhinos and the 4 Citadels, gave my Skyfires an hour and 11 minutes in killing.
And it's interesting.
11 minutes. No, go ahead. Just repeating this one.
It's interesting that they were talking about, oh yeah, you know, more siege deflection, less ship deflection, and yeah, that's right. They themselves summarized when they switched from garrison to assault in the actual raid cycle. When they were heralding the coming of the first raid, they said, okay, we're switching over from mostly building and some ship to mostly ship and some building. What we all expected. And the problem is, with those ships dealing such increased damage now, the things that are having a better effect on the target, on where the majority of the damage is being dealt, aren't the ones that are built in that garrison way. They're built with more pen resist, and they also need more ship deflection because it is ships that are dealing the damage. And, you know, that's very clearly assault. There's no two ways around it. There's a reason why most of the first series of successful, quote-unquote, successful videos had a Phoenix or a Skyfire or a Gut Spill. I think Earth posted one, and he posted it in TFC as well, and I commented on it. It's saying, yes, this is great, but you took a Gut Spill Skyfire carrier into a garrison target. That should never be a solution. And
let me jump in real quick, because the point that you just made right there is exactly why they started bitching about the FM targets before, because we were using Conqueror hulls in them.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I estimated, you know, eyeballing the damage he took to his health bar of that Gut Spill Skyfire, that'll kill a lot of ships. Like, entire actual ships. I'm seeing myself being dragged across the stream. So you can't do that with anything else. You can't do that with your Zealous. It would run out of charge or die. George, what do you know about RA3 triple charge damn gridiron monos?
Be careful what you wish for, because if you say it's wrong for us to use assault ships, next thing you know, their fix for the problem will be to limit FM targets to garrison ships only and generalists. Just like they did elite targets in Raid now. Oh, tier 5 can't go in. You know, another artificial way of limiting to generalists from even trying, right?
See,
I don't need a
the most worrying thing about that is I honestly don't know if you're fucking with me or not.
No, I could totally
like, that could happen.
I can totally see him doing that. And the thing is, they're becoming more and more of a nanny state in a game that's supposed to be, you know, like an open world type of strategy game. I mean, what the hell?
But George, you see, I came to the conclusion that we here, people in this group, like that the freedom of designing, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people actually like that Kickstarter tells them what you put where and what you can't put where, because just had a guy write a post on TFC complaining that the STR-6 special that gives 200 structure deflection should not be allowed in skirmish ships.
What?
Well, because the STR-6 and the SH-6, each one of them adds 200 deflection. One ship, one structure, right? And they are both allowed on all PvE classes. Guess what? Some guy posts complaining that no, Kixeye shouldn't do that. The SH should not be allowed on siege ships, and the STR should not include skirmish ships because, you know, that's misleading. Kixeye wants us to refit. I'm like, no. Have you considered that maybe you should think and read
he wants to be
before you
protected
design a ship? But so many people just want to be told what to do. Just see how many people actually complain when I explain something, like I explained the other day, why splash and spread are better than pure structure damage, building damage for FM, because, you know, you target one turret and you splash kill everything else. And, oh, I don't understand. Can you just check my ship? Tell me what to build?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but there's plenty of players who just want to be told what to do.
And I mean, I understand on many levels how difficult this game can be. And a lot of the people here, you know, we do the hard work, we do the theorizing, we figure out the stuff, we do the math, we do our homework and the research. And it's difficult, but in a sense, that's part of what makes it fun for us, I imagine. But
that's why the game is interesting.
Yeah, and
me,
you know, there's a trade-off between how much of being told what to do is, okay, now I have to face these restrictions versus, okay, now you're just cheating. But if, like, those sorts of people that don't want the structure deflection thing on a skirmish, if you're worried about someone screwing that up, like, if someone screws that up, maybe they don't know what ship and structure deflection are because there's no tutorials or any sort of in-game method to tell them what any of these terms mean.
But no, you know, but people don't know because another guy was just like posted again on TFC, just saying, "Oh, why would people just ever use that special if PV targets bypass deflection?" And Ford, I think it was Ford or Jeff, had to explain to them, "No, it's just damage specific deflection that's bypassed. Ship and structure deflection are okay." That's been in the game for a year and a half.
Yeah, if that wasn't the case, then why do those ships exist? Like, look in your dock.
But
right? You have ships that you use in PvE targets that have them. Like, some people, you know, want an easier experience, and some people want complexity reduced. But some people just aren't smart enough to play a strategy game. Some people, maybe they want something different than a strategy game, but they're in this game for whatever reason. A friend got them to join. They're confused, but they plot along. And it's unfortunate for the latter because they would probably find greater joy in another game. And they gave their friend an officer, and they themselves can stop playing. They have, you know, done what they say.
Is it not an interesting juxtaposition where they wanna tell us what to do and how to build, right? And they give us this whole nanny state ideal, but then in the raids they constantly are giving us puzzles to figure out. I mean, which one is it, guys?
I mean, they're also, you know, mad cheating on their own rules.
Well, clearly, I mean, have you seen the 115?
Yeah, I did it. It took me 4.5 hours worth of damage on my icebreakers. Maybe if I get the sprint countermeasure, I'll do better.
Yeah, you know, that whole catch-22 thing's come back again. I mean, fuck.
And then I have to refit them, which assumes that my shipyard is open and I have enough tokens. Fortunately, I do. But that's not the thing.
You've already built both your raid fleets, right?
I built both of my raid fleets and the 40 million point floating turret they call the Gridarian's Monolith. I built 11 fucking ships. This goes to 11. And it's not good enough anymore. And I don't think that's my fault.
Look, that's all well and good, but I think the only person who hit the nail on the head was Ren so far, and that's the seat time. If these targets were the way they are, and we had to do 3 or 4 of them, I wouldn't even mind. But not long ago, we had LP10. We built this and we built that, and we need titanium, we need uranium. Now we've got this, more seat time. We can't get uranium yet into titanium because you got to do all these other things. You got TLCs in between, you got bounty in between, you got raid in between. It's just a seat time. If you add all the things up that you need titanium to build something in the new shipyard. You need uranium to do something with you, to research something, the specialists or whatnot. You need, everything for everything. And to get all that, if you add that up, I reckon it comes out to almost a full week's work. And that's what I think is the problem.
Well, I think I had mentioned, was it Wednesday's show? I want Kixeye to give somebody, it's Kixeye, give somebody a full entire base. Give them everything, every damn thing, let them build whatever the hell they want, get the base set up the way they want it, put them on the world map, take all their gold away, take every damn resource away, and let them go and try and fill up on everything and tell me how long it's going to take them.
They used to have a GD like that, but he's no longer with them. Played it in his own coin. And still, still play PvP, but that was a while ago. It was interesting. But yeah,
I like to think he saw the light.
No, he's part of the layouts with swag.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I wonder what he would say now.
Well,
probably a lot of swear words.
No, he doesn't swear.
Then I will swear enough for both of us.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, that's not in his makeup. But yeah, good guy. But yeah, he doesn't swear. I did say that. I'm not sure how that works out, but he's a good guy. But he doesn't swear. I'm not sure really how that works out. But
usually, that's what they call a direct relationship.
Okay. All right.
Well, speaking of swag, it was him who did all raid videos, wasn't it? And since he left, that's basically when everything went to secrecy, because there were no videos to show us all. Then Whip went, and it just went all to secrecy.
Oh no, they're making videos.
Yeah.
Live videos.
For a certain definition of video, they are making videos that show you things about ships.
Yeah.
They're hitting the goddamn first bases you could find. They're using cardboard cutouts a la Power Rangers Season 1. It is the best thing ever, man. I hope to God they have fun with that.
Oh, well, and then the Russian accent. That one's always fun.
Oh, yeah. Got a spader will catch you loose the swirl.
Natasha is making, multiple appearances on the show. So.
Hola.
Hey, Rom.
Okay, we can end the show now. Let's go.
Yeah, I was waiting on somebody to say, okay, let's go to the after show.
But Nines hasn't showed up.
Earth's here, isn't he?
Is that Steve? Hey, buddy. I'm a dumb. Thank you for the video. I think I got which makes me feel even worse.
I don't see your salt shaker, Brian.
Give me
but he's funny salty.
Nah, I got it. It's right here. But, I tried to think of, a different catchphrase for
again. Change back to Earth.
I'm sorry, say it one more time, Earth.
He said he'd be back in a minute. He's going to change back to Earth.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that like Bruce Banner and the Hulk or something? Or?
Yeah. I didn't realize that he had two personas. Yeah, that was. I guess not everybody knew that was Earth. So, Earth has been doing some work on this, and knowing Earth, he's going to be angry about the change, but he might also, kick a few people in the ass as far as trying to get this done. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say, and it give me a good chance to get a beer. because I'm sure he'll go off for at least 2 or 3 minutes.
I can get back home.
In the meantime, I'll tell you what we tried that did not work was the ballistic Zelos, the 3, to do the.
But that's what Earth did. I mean, he
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
it. He walked it with him. I mean,
Yeah.
walked it.
You can walk pretty much the base. I'm talking about how we handled the fleets.
He walked the entire target with ballistic Zealous. Oh, he's back. Ask him.
Yeah, he's back. We can find out in person.
All right, we put a tank in a Zelos tank with a Gutspill Skyfire, and it didn't work. The ballistic Zeloses worked to do their job on we had intended it to do the job on the building parts of it, the base parts of it, and we tried to do the tips with the other.
Yeah, I can like literally do a 115 for about 2 minutes damage if I break it down.
You break it, you go in and out?
If I do it in one hit, I've posted videos, but if I do it in one hit, I can do it for like 20 minutes damage. If I do it so I retreat every time I hit a fleet with the one fleet that I'm using at the minute, it's like 7 minutes damage. So you like send it in, repair it, bring it back out again, and just carry on.
What are you using to kill the fleet?
How many in your fleet?
He's using the ballistic Zealous, man. He walked the fucking target.
He just said if he leaves and comes back with the other fleet to kill the ships.
No, it's all part of one. It's all one fleet. I use 3 IBs and 2 Zelos, and I kill the whole lot for 20 minutes damage.
So your ballistic Zelos, how many of them are you using? 2?
2 ballistic Zelos and 3 IBs. That's what I'm using at the minute. I haven't refitted it yet, right? So it's all just classic shit. It's got no fucking antis on it whatsoever at the minute. I could wang 2.4 on each of the 3 IBs, and that's it. I'll do it for nothing.
Interesting.
Easily.
Well, I know I can do just the base with my ballistic Zelos. I use 3.
Well, I know that
Very
because
easy.
I posted it yesterday.
Yeah, very easy. I'm going to have to watch your video again.
But yeah, it's just like, it's easy enough to do. That's how I've been doing the 113s.
Yep.
With those 2 ballistic Zelos. In fact, actually, most of the time I only use 1. But
Yeah, Ford is asking Irf on the chat, are you doing stacked or independent driving on those? I'm assuming independent driving, you know. And the other question, are you using macros to get this done?
no, I'm not. I'm not using macros, mate. I'm independent driving, using the numbers and the mouse.
Okay, all good. Just just trying to.
Earth, you have like 2 videos posted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly positive it's on. They're both on the TFC too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I seen them and I was like, holy shit. And I was like, fuck, it's like another 17-day build for Zealous. I ain't got no more tokens.
Yeah, I never thought I would regret not building a ballistic Zealous fleet for the FM.
Oh shit.
But here we are.
To be fair,
Surprise
mate,
butt sex.
not being funny, but I am a bit of a BP god. For stuff like that, I always just figure it out within a couple of hours, and I always build the right fleet the first time.
I mean, were it not for, like, how do I word this, bro? Like, it is a brilliant solution, and it is thought of using a fashion that most wouldn't. And the interesting thing is, like, the notions that we have in our brain that block the way to the solution that you got to were given to us by kicks. Like, this is the game company telling you, you know, this is how things will work. And to some extent, there's always been, you know, a little bit of back and forth. Like, the reason the ballistic cells works well, you know, really high building damage, really high splash. Those are the same qualities we would see in more fleets. So that's a bit of a jump, but not too much. But
do you know the way that I seen it? The way that I looked at it was, oh right, so it's the same as the 113 target, but now you've got to take out the fleets because it's exactly the same, other than they've added a few cold snaps into it. It's exactly the same, but from the fleet, instead of you being able to make the fleet kill itself off, you've got to kill it. So obviously, like I used to do it with one ship. So now I've got 4 ships that I can add in to that mix in order just to kill the fleet off. So I've got a lot of leeway to it. That's the way that I looked at it anyway. But
yeah, and the answer to the question of, I need to kill ships that fire missiles and do a lot of damage and are quick. What do I use? Well, it sounds like an assault ship. And, in practice, that's what you used. But, again, Kix is like, oh, this is a garrison target and blah, blah, blah. But when you realize, they don't follow their own rules and, they lie about basically everything, including they lied about not changing the lower targets.
Well, I can tell you now, right? I can tell you now that this target, 115, right, with a gut spill carrier as your tank, and 2 of the Zelos that I've got, and 2 normal monos, will do that target all day long for 0 repair. If you break it down into 4 hits.
See, and the problem that I have with that is that it's a fucking garrison thing. My garrison fleets, and this is why I've been concentrating on just a straight up garrison, a traditional garrison fleet attempt on all the ones that I'm doing, because it's either going to be that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a solution for the garrison hulls that they sold us, or why in the fuck am I bothering?
Yeah, like again, players have certain expectations of what a garrison target should be and what an FM should do. Like, these are solutions. There's no doubting it. We see them. They're neat and they're innovative. It's just after, years of having it beaten into us about hull classes and specificity and this and that, a lot of us didn't even think of those. And even once those solutions arise, the question then becomes like,
do we want to spend all the time doing this? Since a week after it came out, so I know what the crack is probably a lot more than what a lot of other people do, but I don't do specific holes for doing specific things because there's always a way around it. So it's like I was going when I come back, because I've spent like probably about 10, maybe 11 months not playing. I mean, I might have logged on and done a couple of like raid targets just to get a bit of tech, just to stay kind of current, but I've actually not really played for about 11 months. And then I come back and I was like, they're going, oh yeah, build a mono fleet with the Zelos tank. You'll be away on the second mission. It's like, so I sat and watched a couple of the targets and went, nah. I'll just build 2 Zelos, that's it. It's easier for me to catch up, but now everybody's going, oh, I can't do the FM anymore. I said, well, I told you that like 6 or 7 weeks ago, build these because they're going to be the bollocks for it. And they they didn't. Now they're struggling.
How do they do in the TLCs?
Which one?
The Ballistic Zealous.
Don't know actually. I've ordered the icebreaker one. You can like eat it up and spit it out. They've got no armor on them at all. You just like instant repair the entire way through it.
I did all the last, not this set of TLCs because I haven't done anything yet, but the last TLCs I did them all with my 3 Zelos on their ballistic Zelos, and I did it, took almost no damage.
Same thing here.
I just did a 103, and the damage has been reduced a lot. I just did it for 3 coins compared to 8 earlier today. So on a full icebreaker fleet.
Yeah, I think they took the arc missile and stopped it or really reduced it. I did notice that.
George, do you want to talk about the cold snap with a dick?
Not really.
Okay. Mind if I do it?
Yeah, you can. I'm about at the I just don't give a fuck anymore point.
Okay.
Well, whichever fleet that you use, your tank needs to have like at least 5 tridents, and that will kill all of the cold snaps.
Which doesn't make sense.
Oh, sure. So,
yeah,
George posted a quick video clip and a still image in a group chat the other night, and I saw it looked like a cold snap, and it fired projectiles that looked like a cold snap. But when you got hit, the pen armor pool dropped down.
No, actually, was it the pen? I thought it was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
it was the
pen.
explosive pool. Oh, yeah.
No, it was the penetrative. No, you're right. It was the penetrative. It was the penetrative, right?
Yeah. So the pen pool dropped. There was no lingering cold snap effect of you have lost your auras. That little ring, the icy ring around your ship when you were normally hit by a cold snap, like wasn't there.
Never got the cold snap effect.
And it deals massive damage.
Took a half of my fleet. Yep.
So, and it looks like a cold snap, so we're not sure. Like it's not like it's a new type of thing necessarily, because there was back in the days there was that thing that looked like something else that was actually a long-range scatter gun.
Yeah, it looked like the gargoyle, but it was actually a scatter gun that was put out in a lot of places. It was in the 91s. It was in several places, and where they get too lazy to replace the graphics, so you sort of think it's the same thing.
Yeah, except the art assets, mean something. When we look at that, we think cold snap, and it's not. Especially when there are other cold snaps that are actually cold snaps on the target to confuse it with. Like, that's a failure in design right there. That's not fun. That requires memorization in a list of other problems that already exist in this target. Like all black or something.
Yeah, I mean, they could do things to differentiate things that I don't think would take that much time by a little color change or whatnot. But I do agree that they've gotten lazy on that. But
you mean like the turrets and the bases from like level 8 and 9 and 7, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
differentiate those.
We look at something and it performs differently, and in this case, in the same target, it performs differently, which is, I think they want us to figure things out, so to speak, and it doesn't. I don't know. I think people want information, and by providing turrets that look like something else, I find it to be more deceptive, and I would rather go out and figure out other things than figuring out that all these things that look the same, they actually perform differently. And that would be nice for them to clear that up by making it black or making them slightly different color than this is the long range one, this is the short range one, this is the one that just this is the preferred one, this is the one that does a ton of damage. It'd be nice if they did things like that, and I think it would be much I think the player base would appreciate it by knowing what they're doing, especially at this point in time where we're trying to hit a target we never hit before. And if you confuse two things that look the same, you take a lot of damage. It's punitive and it's costly in order to deal with that.
To you, but it's good for Kickstarters. That's how they make their money.
But also people quit because of that.
Yeah, I mean, if people pay the money, we can just not pay the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
They can get to the point where they're going to cut their nose off, spite the face, and I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that this target is it.
Yeah, they might have just done
Just
that.
took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say that I think they probably did it with this target.
Yeah, and Earth brought up something, you know, with 5 tridents, you're able to deal with the cold snap.
That's true.
And a cold snap has a salvo of 10, and a trident has a salvo of 1. So it should only be stopping half of them. And I'm not sure what's going on there.
I use 6 on 3 Zealous fleet. I use 2.
I have to admit, though, I've got to say this because a lot of people have tried it with different specials than what I've got on my fleet.
Mm-hmm.
But seismic charges, because it gives you that extra 100% projectile speed, seems to work better than if you haven't got it on there.
Okay. No, I wasn't doubting what you were saying. I'm just saying that it's like, because we've seen that before, where players have put the trident on, and it seems to really outperform what's on the blueprint. And more, the issue I'm bringing up is the fact that we're not seeing the performance in the game doesn't equal what's on the blueprint.
Oh no, I agree, but you've also got to take into account that like the Zelos has got it's got extra accuracy on it, I believe.
Quote unquote 5%.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, even the accuracy shouldn't make a difference, because if they're hitting 1 target per, and you got 5 aiming at 10, no matter what the accuracy is, you shouldn't be killing all 10 of them.
That accuracy probably works over the amount of weapons that are on the ship rather than the actual single weapon itself. So
say that one more time.
It's kind of weird. I reckon that the 5% accuracy buff.
Yeah.
Is I think it's a bit weird how it works really, because you seem to, if you put more weapons on, it seems to get more accurate. So it's kind of like it's a bit sort of backward.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. It's odd. But okay.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out. But I mean, Earth in general, even though if you're able to get it down to a relatively small amount of damage, do you still think, you know, like I brought up earlier in the show, if you're going to have to do this and the bounty and a bunch of other things, do you think this is inviting for players? Do you think this is like, I'm not even going to say an improvement, but is this not a deterrent, even if you're able to...
See, the thing is, though, I think a lot of people in the community have kind of gone
soft.
I used to do it for no damage whatsoever. You've changed it without any kind of like previous input saying that you're going to change it. I think that's what's pissed everybody off originally, was the fact that, you know, we were told that these targets were going to be the same for like 12-month period, then they were going to change into like the next, you know, siege cycle or garrison cycle, etc., and it's been changed like sort of halfway through. And I think that people have got pissed off with that because they've built specific fleets for doing it. You know, I've not been playing for, you know, probably about 10 months, and I come back and I've looked at the targets that people were hitting, and I've built just 2 Zelos in order to do it, because I went, well, you know, I could build a fleet of monos, but I'm not going to, because that's more time in my shipyard. I need to catch up, so I'm just going to build these 2 because I know that will do it. And it just so happens that by me doing that, and because I over-engineered it, just in case there was any changes to it, they will do all of the turrets in the new FM, and then all I had to do was, you know, sort the problem with fleets, which I mean, the fleets are exactly the same as what they were in the previous 113, but obviously in the 113 they used to attack the target, and you used to be able to use the target itself to kill off the fleets.
I don't think they're the same, because I used to attack them and I would not get this kind of damage.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I mean, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I didn't bother. I wanted to do it quickly, and I would just go and attack them, and I was not getting anywhere near this level of damage. Just going out and hitting them. There's something that's been changed. I don't know if it's accuracy, damage, whatnot. Something has changed, because my same fleet, where I would go out and just, because I just want to run through them as fast as possible, the damage has changed in some way. I'm not, you know, like I said, I don't know if it's minimum damage, evade, whatever is going on, but something has definitely changed with these.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. You know, it's a fair enough comment. You know, to be honest, because of the way that I used to hit the targets, I don't actually know how much damage they used to do. But it's still the same fleets. They might have changed what damage they do or whatever. But
they look the same.
The main issue is that they've obviously changed them from attacking the target into attacking you. So this is the issue for most people, I think.
I think it's a larger issue personally, because like I said, I mean, I used to just go out and kill them, and I would get instant repair, except for the one on the 113 that came directly out of the north. That one might push me slightly over instant repair.
Never. I did like 3. I did 3. So you go.
Well, my change in doing it is kind of minor. I'm still using the same fleet as far as 1 Zelos and 4 Monos, but after I went through and paid the price in terms of whatever you want to call it, I won the sprint, and then I put 3 sprints on my Zelos, and I can do the target for 4 coins.
Yeah. Doing the target for 4 coins is not. I don't want to say anything bad, but it's not a win in my, because you got to do that target 13 times. It's not a win in my mind.
I'm not saying that it is a win, but I'm saying it's not the end of the world. You know, I mean, if you screwed up before with the other fleet, you were still going to take damage. You had to drive it perfect in order to get instant repair. But right now, the only thing that's really taking any damage is the Zelos, and it's from killing the Rhinos. So, you know, maybe another change. I don't know. Just refit something else.
You can knock out those Rhino missiles, though. I mean,
do what now?
Can anything knock out the Rhino missiles?
On this build that I'm looking at right now, I have 4 Phalanx 3s. I have 4 Gale 3s. I have 3 of the new Sprint countermeasure, and I have 2 Tridents, and that's all I've got.
And duality.
And duality, yes. But I mean, as far as what I put on the boat, everybody gets duality. I've got 4 M armors and 1 X. I could probably change that X armor over to an M and be even better.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
I don't know if you guys have actually watched my video or not that I posted with the icebreakers and 2 Zelos. But I mean, you can, with the 2 Zelos that I've been doing the 113 with, really all you've got to do is just add in a little bit of a separate. If you add in 2 monos and put in a gut spill, you can actually do, if you back out of the target after each group of ships that comes to you, you can do it for nothing.
Yeah. Are you not afraid that they're going to change things again? I mean,
because
you came back. You came back. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. I'm just saying, look, everybody's crying that it's too hard. You know, if you look at back through time, at the end of the day, things change. You've got to just kind of adapt to it.
Yeah, but things can change again. Is what I'm afraid of.
Yes, because my fleet that I built to do it worked last week. Now it doesn't. Ain't gonna work. You know, it's minor. It's minor things, really. You've got to just kind of adapt. The game is ever changing. You've just got to get on with it, really. Or not.
I mean, my icebreaker. What? No, my icebreakers took 4.5 hours worth of damage in a 115. They weren't really. They don't have the sprint. They had tridents. They're not the best thing in the world. There's lag. If I only had to do the 3 targets, if I only had to do 3 of them, I'd be at least sort of okay with that, because that would mean that I would be done with my FM in a single real-time day. And I could, if they still have the reset, I'd refresh it and do it tomorrow. I think the big problem is when you need to do like 14 of them.
Yeah,
I think
don't disagree, but the thing is, though, there is tech available without having the new check that's available, like the sprint, right? That you can do it for next to no damage, like 20 minutes to repair. I mean, everybody was going, "Oh bloody hell, it's costing me like seven hours of repair just to hit one target and stuff like that." Even like top players in the game, you can do it.
I never.
20
yeah,
minutes.
I mean the problem is, I never built Quake Zealous. I didn't think they'd be necessary, because I already built the best garrison fleet out there. If I can't use the best garrison fleet in the garrison target, then what's it good for?
I don't disagree with that whatsoever. However, you know, if you actually look at the stats of everything, it's the best anti-ship in the game. Doesn't matter which way you look at it. It's always going to come in handy at some point. So, you know, I built a couple of them, and it's paid off.
I don't agree with it, though. I don't agree that you have to build every single ship in the game to be able to be relevant. And I shouldn't have to build a Zelos fleet if I don't really want to. If I don't want to build
I agree.
I don't want to build that fleet. I don't understand what is the big deal with Kixeye. Back in the old days, you could take any fleet that you wanted and use it for any type of target, and it was fine. It will do the target. And that's what we need to go back to, that, because we don't need to build every single goddamn ship in the freaking game.
Yeah, but Daniel, they screwed that up when they brought the generalist out, because they said that the generalist should only be able to do generalist jobs, and it's going to be, like I said a few weeks back, it could be made into a tank for every single one of the targets that we've got.
Yeah, but that's only a tank role. It's not necessarily a damage role. And if you build it into a damage role, it's going to perform worse than its other counterparts, which it should, really. You built it for a particular role, and that's not always going to be useful. If you have a countermeasure tank in a siege target, that's useless. I think even in skirmish it's useful now, because the gluttonies fire things that are technically classified as mortars.
Yeah.
See, the way that I built mine was half and half, so it's not just a tank. It's, you know, it's half attack, half defense. And if you build 5 of them, it will do one of those 115s for about 3.5 to 7.5 minutes, depending on how you drive.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Alf, because I was going to ask you that, actually. I know you do it with 2, but I was thinking if you did 5 of them, would it be better on you damage-wise, or would it get more damage?
Yeah, no, because you've got, obviously, if you build them the same, you've got all of those antis in there. It works out between 5 or 7 minutes damage if you've got a fleet of 5 of them. But, you know, the videos that I've done are purely just stuff that people are going to have hanging around. So, you know, some people might have done the old FM with icebreakers, and some might have done it with, you know, freaking monos and stuff like that. But the way that I've done it for the videos was kind of used relevant, but, you know, tech that people are actually using to do it.
Yeah.
And to try and kind of help out as many people as I could, really.
Well, the thing is, one of the major things that I had that I have, that's very wrong with this Forsaken mission at the moment is that the last Forsaken mission, I was able to use my icebreaker fleet and complete one whole session of the Forsaken mission, complete the whole entire thing in one go, and let my fleet repair overnight. And I didn't have to care about driving. I didn't have to care about anything else. It was just one go. This time, I do like maybe 2 targets, and then I have to go back in, and that's not even halfway through.
Yeah, that's what they don't want, though, isn't it? They don't want you doing targets and repairing it overnight. They want to push you into repairing with coin.
See, the thing is, though, I personally believe that that their game analytics, so how many people are completing the Forsaken mission, hitting level 113 targets. That's probably one of their parameters that's built into the game that they're looking at, and they're looking at, I don't know, let's say there's 1 million people that are doing the FN over a weekly basis, and then there's probably about 750,000 that are all hitting 113s. It's not actually 750,000 people that are hitting them for no damage whatsoever. It's probably actually 1%, and they're prepping for like all of their alliance doing it, and it's fudging the figures. And I think that kind of like kicks I look at it and go, well, there's like 75% of people that play the game can hit the 113 targets for no damage, because the completion, the point of completion, it's saying they've got no damage and it's been completed. It's kind of like, I think it might be screwing their figures up.
How are they prepping a Forsaken mission target? It's damage based. It's based on how much damage you do.
The middle island.
But
No.
And leave.
I will admit, I used to get mine prepped as well. They always, they'd take the outside, and then I'd just go on the inside. And even if they didn't do the shroud, I could open the shroud myself, do the rockets myself, and kill the end turrets and get 74 million.
Yeah, plus, well, you don't have to even open on the old 113s. You don't even have to open the shroud. You didn't even have to leave the shroud and all of the turrets in the middle. All you had to do is kill the shroud off, and then just leave that one set of turrets that's in beyond the back. So you've got the 2 mortars, the anti-missile turret, and 2 rockets on the cold snap. You leave that, you can hit that from the outside with monos for no damage. At 74 million for that. So
okay.
I think
that's also their fault for putting remote targeting into the game, isn't it? That's why we can do that now.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
They
don't get me wrong. I just think that they're not really kind of seeing in their figures what actually does people are and aren't capable of in the game, because by prepping.
Do you reckon that's why they put the target up so much then, to see who actually can do the FM in a week?
Yeah, I think they're going to see from the figures now that it's completely different. A lot of us are, I'm still prepping for people in my alliance because they can't hit it and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of the figures get fudged because they're going to get X person who's hit 113, they've received no damage, and then the target's completed. They're not going to see who's prepped it or anything like that. So,
yeah, and it brings an important point to the table of, should they be trying to monetize what is the main, or I guess you could say, but the main means of advancement in the game, as hard as they are?
They already have 2 forms of monetization of the game, not counting the regular, base hits that people usually do during, off season.
But PvP's been down. PvP's been down since OP10 came out because the bases are too strong. They had to release. They had to release a massively overpowered on the surface hull in the form of the King's Red to try and stop that, but that's not a world beater as everyone said it would be.
No, that's actually getting stopped now. I've heard on Grapevine.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of it the day it came out. People have been using it to massive success and massive failure.
Yep.
And it looked like, if you just looked at the numbers, the deflections, it looked like it was going to be a massive success and, all hellfire rained down on you. And
my main issue with the game at the minute is the massive disparity between the people that have, the people that have, and the people that have not is stupid, right? And there's no middle ground. You either are a I have or I have not.
Yep.
And
there was middle ground though, Earth. They've just widened it that much. They've separated the middle ground now to have or have not.
Well, no, it's amazing. It's amazing because this change was supposed to help the have-nots. It was supposed to be great. The very first time you hit Tier 4, after you bought a prize, you could then buy a ship build token for 2 days from Tier 4. And if you wanted to grind and get tech you needed, in theory, you'd be able to go and hit targets more and more and get those points. Yes, that would take time away from your other things, but really, you need the tech to do the other things. You need to be able to do the FM. That's point one. You have to. But when they change all the targets in the FM and they up the difficulty in them such that, nearly everyone and probably everyone, who was doing well and using the same tactics before and after experienced such a massive change in the damage they took, that's not helping the lower players at all. That's not helping anybody.
In my personal opinion, I think that, the way that we've had, for example, the change from the 91 megaship targets into the glowing nav relays and stuff like that, where you have the old targets still there, and then the new targets alongside for like a few weeks or a month, and then so you can still hit the old targets that you were hitting, see what the new ones are like, and then adjust your fleets gradually so that you know exactly where you're at. Kind of would have worked with this. That what they should have done is release the new FM the way that they're going to do it, but the 113 is still there, and the 85s instead of the 88s, and then kind of like just gone, this is what the new one's going to be like. There's your old one. Get yourself sorted.
They'd have to change the point system as well then, wouldn't they, though? Because you get 109 million for clearing one of them 113s, and they won't be giving you that many points on this kind of rate.
No, they increased the 103s. They would have bumped them up accordingly, like what Irf said, because they bumped them all up at that point in time. And so, no, I agree with Irf. I mean, as far as they need to have a transitional period, like they've done previously, and this came, it came out of the blue to everybody. There was no.
But wasn't the FM supposed to be for the little players to help them along to bridge the gap to grow? And it never really worked from the start. It was
supposed to be more for little players to get the tech to be able to catch up, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to be.
And the big players to get the escalation weapons.
Yeah, it was originally just to get escalation weapons, to get new weapons and tech in a different way other than raids.
I want to touch on the lack of a transition period real quick, because we're expected to do the FM every week because of the tokens. They factor all of these tokens in when they're doing all their metrics for, ship building and ship designing. The problem is they're introducing so many other things near constantly that I don't understand how they can actually get a beat on that in any reasonable sense, because they just introduced the Conquest Yard not too long ago, and now we have to build 2 fleets for a raid, and so that's additional, and then there's escalation for both of them now, so there's that. But the thing is, they're expecting us to do everything every week in order to be able to even potentially be caught up. And without a transition period, we're all shocked and stunned. We can't the majority of the player base can't reasonably do this new FM in the first week because the difficulty spike was so high with the tech that we've had and in the manner that we've been expecting. And that's another big thing. Like we can't really afford to not do the FM for any period of time. If it was something like titanium, maybe. Base parts, maybe, but that's still really important. Uranium, we will always need that. But at least we get some in the FM, except now they made the FM a lot harder. The lack of a transition period is very upsetting. And now we have to go and refit our ships. And a lot of us probably have monolith tokens, but what if you don't? What if you need to build, ballistic zealots because that's the best you could do and you don't have those tokens? What if you need to refit a gut spill Skyfire to put it out on the map? Like, solutions exist, but the fact that there's solutions in the first place speaks to a major issue, multiple major issues with the design of these targets. They were not designed in any way how garrison targets are expected by the players and even by the companies on which to be designed. It's a massive failure all around. I'm just glad people are finding solutions at all, but the solutions they're finding, I guess, shouldn't be considered right when we take into all the rules that Kixeye is wanting to apply to us.
You're talking about the gut spill Phoenix?
Yeah, the gut spill Skyfire just going through and chunking. It's cool,
yeah,
but that should
nice.
not have to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, the Skyfire, I mean,
it's all well and good while we can use any tank in these, but if, like someone said earlier, that if they decide to stop assault hulls going in there, what happens then?
Well, but
then you're screwed.
That's not going to happen.
You can't even use any tank though, because George is doing some stuff. He mentioned earlier 4 charged plates of M is not enough to survive a full run through. That's a problem. He did I think it was in a video where he had his grid mono with RA3, with tridents, with anti-morts to kill all sources of explosive damage. So ideally he was only taking pen. 3 charged M plates, RA3, tank dead before the target finished.
Yeah,
we can't do any better than that in that capacity. We have to switch to a different line of thinking.
What I just said, Brian, was on my Zelos, 4 charged M is enough. But if I put the 5th on there, I would take less damage.
Are you sure?
I'm just using my Cadies.
Did you retreat to the
I didn't have to use the
Cadies.
I did a 1 hit all the way around 4 coin repair. 1 hour 23, 1 hour 30 minutes, whatever it is.
Cadies would work. That would work.
You Isn't that an assault ship too, technically?
Whatever.
I think it's an assault ship because it's UAVs.
It is.
I haven't seen the videos yet, but
you could put explosive UAVs. You could put explosive UAVs.
Oh, that's right. Those do exist. Oh, right. Those are the ones that they broke and never actually fixed. Forgot about those. Oh, that was a good day. Oh, yeah. By the way, when you need to use that Cadies for something else, it's only about 10 hours of repair to heal it back up to full.
Well, you don't want to get it to full. You want to get it in that, that sweet range.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, but even still, actually, because it costs 25 health per thing, I wonder how many shots you're going to take and what the damage on the Cadies would actually be. I hope nobody ever does that, because that's terrible.
Yeah, and then look at the data and figure out that that's the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah, but...
Yeah, that is the case.
yeah. Oh, come on, come on, guys. Use the Cadies.
Yeah, clearly. We gave you shards, but it's fine.
No, they still haven't given us enough shards. They still haven't.
Not even collected
unless you collect them.
Well, yeah, I think though if you could have bought all of them offered in every raid at this point, I think you'd have been able to build one.
No, not from every raid. If you go and you do a billion 85s, yeah, maybe.
And you would know. Crap.
Okay. I mean, we're running towards the second hour. But basically the way I see it is the FM is
not
geared towards people that either have a lot of tokens or a lot of gold, or in our situation has come back to the game and has both as well. But has a situation where he's making these ships work for the FM, because I'm not sure if these ships, as equipped for the FM, will work that well on the time limited campaigns that are associated with it, because you're changing the focus, as opposed to being balanced fleet as far as explosive and penetrative. You're making it more towards penetrative than you are like a balanced fleet, right?
I mean, to be fair, my Zelos do the icebreaker campaign all the way through to mastery for like no damage, or
Okay.
kind of.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to figure out like what they're doing here.
I've had to refit my icebreakers like 3 times, trying the different
But
builds.
The
different
thing is, though,
things.
my Zelos did exactly the same thing. I could do the icebreaker campaign. I went from 1 all the way to 8, and then all the way in the next round to 5 before my Zelos died.
Yeah.
But someone who's got exactly the same build as me can't. He gets killed in the 115 with those same Zeloses. So
yeah. See,
what do you do?
You know, I've posted the build. Really, you need across the fleet 5 to 6 tridents, 2 phalanx 4s, and 3 over the 2 ships. So you need like 6 in total. Gale 2s will do it across the fleet, and you won't take any damage from any of the turrets at all in a 115.
Maybe we shouldn't be saying this.
You got the. We knew all about
They know from the
the
metrics,
6
it's fine.
the 6 tridents. We knew all that, and it's the fleets that kill the ships, that kill the Zeloses. It's not the turrets.
Exactly. All I'm saying is that you got, the way that I look at it, I mean, I've come back. I've not got Phoenixes. I've not got Skyfires and stuff like that because I've only just come back to the game. So I've got IBs, which is why I've done the video with the IBs. All right, I've got charged armors on them and stuff like that, but I've done it with kind of tech from before the change. I've not changed anything up yet. I'm sure it'll get a lot easier with me adding any new tech and doing some tweaks to stuff. I'll get it down to instant repair. I don't doubt it. It's just, I think that everybody needs to sort of chill out, realise that, you can use some of the tech that you've got there already and just do fine tweaks and sort it out.
But it still won't be any faster.
Yeah, it's the problem is it's not that I'm doing the target. It's more like I could do the target, but it's gonna take like twice as long as just doing the FM normally.
Yeah, but you've got to kind of, you've still got to adapt a little bit. You know what I mean? All right, fair enough. The first video that I posted, I was doing it in 4 hits because, I could see that the way to do it was to send in the fleet to do the turrets and then send in a fleet to clear up all of the guard fleet. Then I figured, I was going, well, my Zelos have got loads of antis on them. I'm taking a little bit of damage on my IBs. What I'll do is I'll split it. So I'll put the Visago head on there and I'll put 2 Zelos in, and then I'll put another 2 IBs in, so that I've got a bit of the best of both worlds. I've got a bit of anti and I've got a bit of attack for the fleets. So when I put that in, my damage reduced for the whole target, even though I was hitting it in 1 hit. My damage overall dropped by over 30 minutes. So originally it was 52 minutes, and now I'm doing it for around about 20. Just by having the antis from the Zelos on there. And I've only got 2 phalanx 4s on there, and I've got the tridents. The tridents aren't great at hitting missiles because obviously they've got a low salvo rate. So, and I've got nothing on the IBs. So if I add some phalanx to my IBs and I change the garrison battery into a frontline battery, you know, we're going to reduce the damage even more. You know, it's all about just having that little tiny bit and just changing little bits here and there that are going to help you out, rather than having to change your entire fleet. You don't actually have to change your entire fleet. You just need to tweak it a little bit just to change it to the target.
He's right.
And
He's absolutely right.
We're doing,
But I mean, the question I have: does it also work on the TLCs, the original targets that were balanced in a certain way? Because I've seen the same success that you're having, Earth, with Insector Gadget. He came back, and he
came back, watched my video, and then done it with a different fleet.
yeah. But what also happened is he aimed his fleet at this target, right? And this target's not like it's not like the TLC targets that we're going to see that are more balanced for explosive and whatnot. But you say you did well on that, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the icebreaker one, it does it for instant repair.
Okay.
Same with the mono one as well. You know, it's just kind of, well, it's a generalist hull. It's quite, because I've set it up as a bit of a tank, but it's not a full tank. That's what you know what I mean? So, and it's because it's two ships.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to like figure out, like, it just seems the people that are succeeding the most are the people that are sort of coming back to the game and they're aiming their shit at this, and which is, I don't know, is that unfair to think that, you know, you're aiming?
The thing is, when I built that fleet, I built it for the old 113s, right? So, you know, they're pretty much exactly the same, other than it's added a couple of cold snaps in there, right? So, someone's picked it up on my video, actually, because I posted the build, and it's got, on the build, it's got 3 tridents per ship, which is 6, right? On one of my Zelos, it's got 4, because the 113s used to be able to do it with 4 tridents. With a single ship. So obviously when I built it, I put 4 on there, and I could do a 113 target and probably get about 1 minute and 30 seconds damage whilst I was building the second one. So
okay.
But you gotta look at it this way, Hefe, and I don't want to blow sunshine up anyone at all here, but Gadget and Earth aren't just a normal standalone player sort of type thing. You know, they're not all. I would say that less than I don't know, 95% wouldn't be able to build fleets like that. There would only be a few people that would come up with fleets like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, they've both been on the show, and I know both. You know, I know both of them. No, I'm trying to open up a conversation for everybody else as far as like what's going on here. You know, as far as
I'm just wanted to mention, you know, like they're not your average fleet builders sort of type thing, you know.
And I'm gonna hit on the same mark again, just by saying everyone's talking about the damage and ways to mitigate the damage, but the damage is only 1/4 of the equation. The other 3/4 of the equation in the new FM are 100% out of our control. And Kixeye made all the other 3 vectors a lot worse than they were. And unlike the damage, which you can find ways to mitigate, some faster than others, the other 3 vectors you can do nothing about.
Unless you increase your damage, essentially.
You know, it's the time to complete, the timer on the chests which have the tokens, right? Before you could have 3 days to get your first T5 token, and then 3 more days to get your second T5 token. Same for the T4. Now you have 4 days to get there, and it's hit or miss. If you don't get in 4 days, so long, bye-bye, see you next week. And a much higher point requirement, as I already said again. So the much higher point requirement's another hit. Before, 7 targets, done. Now 14, 15 targets to get 1 prize per tier, and then redeem the chests per tier. We can do anything about that. If you're gonna hit the top target, 15 targets. If you're gonna hit the 103, 45 targets. Okay, nothing we can do about that.
No,
nothing we can do about the timer on the chests.
There isn't. Exactly. I know, but I'm like everybody else. I work. I have a couple of hours a day to do whatever I want to do. Family life and stuff like that. I play BP. I'll come in the other night. Everybody else had been hitting targets most of the day by the time I got in. I watched 2 people hit them. I figured out, the patterns of ships moving and stuff like that. Looked at the damage types and stuff that, you're getting hit with, and come up with a plan. And, the fleet that I had in place for the 113s anyway, all I had to do is just add a sort of like an assault kind of element to it and do that, And I've not been playing any longer than what I usually would. I've been out of the game for ages, and I've obviously got a lot of tier 5 to catch up on, but I'm completely caught up now because I didn't sit there going, well, I'm not fucking going to hit it because I'm getting more damage than what I used to. And,
you've got the right attitude for it, Irv. I mean, that's the whole point. You said a couple of key things there. People aren't analyzing the target. They're just going and expecting to do it the way they did before, and they're pissed off because they can't. Exactly. It's not that big of a refit.
It's not.
Actually, bro, you're defending Kickside? What the hell? What's
no,
going on here?
Daniel, back up.
Hold on.
Is everybody getting pissed off because they think it's impossible, but it's not. He's absolutely right.
Oh, no,
he analyzed the target. He saw what the problem is.
Oh no, it's not possible. I've been here refitting, trying to see what the best build is, and I've refitted like 3 times, trying and stuff like that. But I've been trying.
Let me ask you a question. What is acceptable damage?
The blades are there with it.
Huh?
What is acceptable damage for you to do the target?
What is acceptable damage?
Yeah, what is acceptable?
I mean, I was doing the old target for an hour and a half. And I only needed to do 3 targets.
Right, they've upped it.
Yeah, so they upped it.
But what's acceptable? You want it to be the same. You want it to be the same as what it was. You can't have that because everything has to progress. Golf doesn't get easier because I've been playing it for 20 years. Golf gets more difficult because I get older.
The damage is not the problem.
Right downhill from there.
It's not the damage.
It's the time you have to sit there and plan. It's just the silly thing.
No. It's not even. It's just. It should be how it was. Okay, I'm able to do the target, and I'm able to do the target really quick with my icebreakers. A long time ago, when it was the other target, I was able to do the target really quick. 3 times, bam, 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 over with. I'm already tier 5.
So you want it to be fast, you want it to be free.
Well, I took a lot of damage.
That's not what I asked. I said you want it to be fast and you want it to be free.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody? I mean, that's what you really want.
But that's the end result of what we want, which is an unrealistic expectation. It is a business.
It's the target. That's the target.
Yeah, but they have the raid to monetize. They have now bounty to monetize. They have enough things to monetize in the game that how much more money do they need to squeeze out of us?
I'm sorry, I really don't care if they are a business, and I really don't care if they have things to monetize. To me, the bottom line is, am I having fun? Are you having fun doing FM?
No.
You know what?
Neither am I, and to me, that's the whole problem. Why should I stick to playing a game if I'm really not having any fun at all? And to achieve a target, I have to spend money. So I'm not having fun. I can't achieve end of mission without spending money.
But that's different. That's different for each player. I am having fun with this, and I only had to change 3 things out on my Zelos.
Oh, so you are having fun?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this challenge.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a challenge at the end of the day. You know, the way that I see it, and I always have, is my enjoyment out of this game is that things are ever evolving, and
Absolutely,
you know, they're ever changing, and you've got to find out a solution for a certain problem. You know, if that problem stays the same and you could sort that solution out working day in, day out, then it gets boring, right?
Yeah.
Every time something like this changes, like the FM, you know, it took me about 2 days to figure out the old FM that I, instead of having to build a fleet of 1 Zelo and 4 monos to do the target, I could build 2 Zelos to do it, right?
And that's great. That's a great solution. It's all different. Everybody has an independent solution, but the problem is you've got about, I'm going to say 5%, maybe 7% of the guys that go out and figure the target out. Then the rest of the player base wants somebody to give them the build so they can do the same thing.
Yeah, every fucking one
figuring it out on their own.
Well, I'm here switching my build out, trying to figure out what, you know. Hey, I wasted $15 just trying to figure out.
You know something? All you have to do is ask me, and I will give you my build because it's a freaking FM target. You can do it.
I don't need.
You can do it for 4 coins. Yeah, it's going to take you 14 deals to do it, but let's think about it. Everything we do, if you want to go get a mod for an Xbox game, it's going to cost you 10 or 15 bucks. You want to go buy a new Xbox game, it's going to cost you $60. Everything costs something. Nothing is free. We're at the point where Kix wants to make something, and we figured it out now. We just have to get the prizes to make it happen.
Yeah, but Rum, you've just contradicted yourself there. Basically, you've said that you'll give him your fleet, but then you're saying on the other hand that everybody's always asking for fleets and they don't want to do it for themselves.
No, what I'm just saying, I didn't contradict myself. I offered him something so that it would be easier for him. If anybody wants to build, they can. They'll pick it apart. They'll say it's stupid. But I'm stating right now, as a fact, I can do 115 for 4 coins. That's all I said. I didn't say it was the greatest build.
I can do it for 4 coins right now.
And I've posted the build.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to figure it out for themselves. They want to have it handed to them, and they want it for free.
Well, I'm down for 4. I'm down to 4 coins now.
I don't know.
I don't think that's enough. That's enough. I think that's too much for that amount of points.
For FM, it is too much. You know,
no. It's not for that amount of points. It's too much damage.
Well, true.
It needs to be a lot less damage. Because we got to hit it more times now.
I'm not being funny. You want to do it quickly and you want to get it out of the way, right? So if you want to do that, then fair play to you. You know, if you want to do it quickly, then pay the price. If you don't, do what other people are doing and, like, you know, go in, take a little bit out, come out, repair, go in, do it for free. It's up to you. It's up to you, the way that you want to play the game at the end of the day. If you want to do something,
does that also mean that you have to have 2 fleets on map, and also if somebody comes out, they can steal your target as well?
Mm-hmm.
No, I hit it in one go. I don't have to worry about that. I go into it, I hit it, I'm done.
Yeah, well, the same as me. I posted a video of doing it in stages, so you'll got 2 fleets on the go, and you do 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit. All right. Then I changed it so that you've got 3 of one fleet and 2 of the other fleet in there, and now I'm doing it for 20 minutes damage instead of 52 minutes damage.
Okay.
You know, it's all kind of like you've just got to sit there and figure out what you can do with it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You got to sit there, but we don't want to sit there because there's so many chores.
Okay. No. And then try doing that while people are trying to snipe you. Or let's try doing that when people are where you have to leave your fleet out and then someone snipes your fleet and then you have to spend a lot more coin that way, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand this whole thing that let's do it up in stages. Okay, let's do it in stages. Well, let's do it while someone is going out there and sniping your fleet. Someone is, you come out.
There's just no chance.
It's not that I want to do it quick or easy or nothing like that. Okay, fine. Give me enough points to freaking do to be able to for the damage. Just like the last target, I was able to do it 3 times for the 2 hours for 8 hours of damage, which was just reasonable. I finished with the day, and
So
I was done.
So-
And I just turned off the game and did something else. Went on with my day.
you know,
That was
that's
repaired.
fair enough. But you know, I mean, I used to do the old 113 target with 2 ships with no armor on them for 0 seconds damage.
Okay, it's nice that you guys got a good build, and that's cool that you're happy with it. But the rest of the community is not freaking happy, especially if you're gonna monetize the freaking FM. I mean, it's the freaking FM, man.
This is the point.
So you're saying my choices now are either
you coin or you don't. And then
so my choices now are either I coin the FM to get it done in a reasonable amount of time, or I'm going to spend my whole week doing FM because it's going to take me 20 minutes plus per target, and I got to do 15 times, so 6 hours, whatever. I don't like that. And again, if you don't like something, the choice is you close the game and you go do something else.
That's exactly right. That's your choice.
That's it. That's my choice. That's it.
But
now, as a business, I think it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Impose that on your players and just say, okay, I'm going to lose a lot more players who won't like that, but some will like it and they'll stay, and that's good enough for me.
But also, we're not even considering in the conversation we just heard, what happens if the bounty's going on? What happens if you have 6
what if you have
DLCs?
VXP weekend.
VXP weekend.
Yeah,
as well.
all these
That's
things
the one that pisses
that are
me off.
also part of the
I've
game.
only got blanks. I've only got blanks in my dock right now, and that one that pisses me off is that I
That's
have
what
to
she
kill
said,
all
right?
them hulls before I can do out.
See, right now, I just finished the Forsaken mission. I still haven't finished the TLCs that I was supposed to do last week because of bounty.
Not even started them, Daniel.
Yeah, and now it's about to end in like a couple days. Like I think 5 days more left. Actually, Tech Up is 3 days left, or 4 days left. And
Tech Up just started Tuesday.
yeah, but
but
Tech Up is
it's
very
finished,
short
isn't it?
period of time.
Yeah.
And
All right. Well, I think we're past the 2-hour period. If anybody wants to wrap up with everything, because we've already gone 2 hours, which is an hour longer than we're allowed to, according to those
According to
people.
me, who's here talking.
I'll hold on to mine.
Wait,
I'll just say one thing, Hefe, before I drop. Roll back the freaking FM. That's all I have to say. Roll back.
No, not roll back, but just add the other targets back.
Yeah, just as a transitional period, I agree with you.
No, I don't want a transitional period because a transition implies that at the end I'll end up with what we have today.
No, I don't want a transitional period. I want
because
them
there's
targets
not a
put back.
garrison. There's not a garrison solution to this target.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. If there was a garrison solution, and we have all these monolith tokens, we have all these icebreaker tokens, but there doesn't appear to be a solution that's based on that. And
At
that's
the very, very, very least, get rid of all the timers on the chests.
Oh,
At
yeah.
the very least.
Yeah, I agree.
Get rid
Yeah,
of the
the timer
timers. Drop half at fleets as well that's in that last target, because that's just totally ridiculous. We're allowed 1 fleet and 1 fleet only to do a job, and they've got 10 fleets or something in there.
Look, I'll be honest with you, right? Just if they just turned it back so that the fleets, instead of doing the pathing to attack you, compared to what we used to be able to kill them off using the base to kill it off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
there's some strategy.
I don't think they'll do that, because the simple reason that if it starts attacking that building, you just sit there in corner while it does all the business and then go kill it.
But then there's some strategy there. I think that's what Earth is.
And it's consistent with the storyline. In the storyline, it was the Legion versus the Forsaken, the Draconian, and we were hopping in to help.
Right on. Exactly.
And now they just broke the whole storyline. Like, oh, they don't touch each other, they all come after you. What the fuck?
Well, that's because they had a breakup, innit?
So they broke the class of the target, and they broke the storyline of the target just to make more money off of the full players. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, and I've seen the Greta sex tape. It's not. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, it's $15.99. I wouldn't buy it, but I mean, yeah. Personally, I'm frustrated with the whole thing as far as how it interacts with the other things that we feel overwhelmed with. Because we, as players, I think we feel also overwhelmed with the bounty. We feel overwhelmed with the King's Writ. There's so many things going on in this game that the player base feels overwhelmed with, that adding this in is causing a lot of people that even the people that coin to not want to play this game. I'm frustrated with it. But
to be honest, I'm not actually coining to do all of the changes that I've done for the FM. I've not coined, and well, which is nothing. I've just used one of the fleets that I had, which was doing the 113. So the same fleet that I was using for the 113, and the addition of 3 other ships.
I'm not frustrated.
What are you doing the bounty?
Right? I look at it as I'm playing Battle Pirates, but at this moment in time, they've taken that much away from me what I can do. I'm not playing Battle Pirates anymore. For last 3 weeks, I haven't done missions.
All right, let's take this to the after show. I'm gonna post it one last time for in case anybody would like to join us, and
if you enjoyed the show, throw them a like.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God!
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Come back and see us sometime.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna put a donate button at the bottom of the show.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different thing.
We need it for the drugs so we can deal with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
we need it for the coins so we can know how to do for refits.
We need it to bag us salts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, in case anybody would like to join us in the after show, because we've gone up for our 2-hour limit.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to have conversations in the after show as far as what's going on in the game and how people are relating to it. But see y'all on Wednesday if not before, and have fun with the FM.